I work with USA Wrestling in their communications department. My colleague Craig Sesker's up front here, and he'll be helping me and working with you all week as we put on our World Team Trials for wrestling here the next 2 days. This is the most important event domestically each year for us because it determines the U.S. team that will compete at the World Championships, and it also sets the ladder not only for competition opportunities but also for the funding of our senior athletes. So this is the big show for these athletes. This event this year, we'll be seeing competition in all 3 Olympic styles: freestyle wrestling for men, women's freestyle, and Greco-Roman wrestling. And each day, our schedule will be 10 o'clock in the morning, will be the challenge tournament, and at 6:30 will be the best 2 out of 3 to determine who makes the team. Basically, we'll be splitting the weights in half. Half of them will go on Friday, the other half will be on Saturday. Our weight classes for Friday are 60, 74, and 96 kilograms. Also on Friday is 55, 66, 84, and 120 in Greco. And then our women's 2 competition weight classes are 55 and 72. On Saturday we come back with 4 freestyle weights: 55, 66, 84, and 120. These are in kilograms. Greco-Roman will have 3 divisions: 60, 74, and 96. And then our women will go at 48 and 63 kilos. You'll notice the women have fewer weight classes here. For the first time we've done only the Olympic weight classes. There are only 4 weight classes for women in the Olympic Games, and we will do a second trials event for the non-Olympic weights later this summer in Colorado Springs. But the reason that we're only doing the 4 Olympic weights for the women is because those are qualifying events at the Worlds for the Olympic Games, and the U.S. wants to have their absolute best athletes going and trying to earn us spots in the Olympics this summer. We've been able to get 3 fantastic athletes to come and attend our press conference today. They all have very strong Oklahoma angles, so certainly for those here from the Oklahoma media, these are your stars that are from this area. The way things will work, I'm going to basically ask each athlete 2 or 3 questions just to get talking. We'll open up for individual questions after that. We'll move down and talk to all 3 athletes, and then at the end we'll once again open up for questions. And then certainly we'll have the ability, if you'd like to do one-on-ones with the athletes after the press conference, they're here for that opportunity. So I'm going to start from the closest to me and then work to my right. We'll start with our women's division. And here for our press conference is one of the most successful athletes in the history of American wrestling. She's won 9 world medals and has twice been a world champion. She is now living here in Oklahoma City, attending Oklahoma City University, where she's wrestling and pursuing an undergraduate degree. I'd like to introduce Christie Davis. Christie, I'd just like to ask you, last year you competed at 67 kilograms, which was a higher weight. You've come down to 63 for one of the Olympic weight class divisions. Could you tell us how things have gone since you've decided to change weight classes and compete now at 63 again?
I knew, I think, as soon as I came back to wrestling, I started at 72 kilos and realized that that wasn't probably going to be an option, and that I needed to make a decision with only 2 years left in the cycle to either go up or down, and I chose to go down to 63s, which in the past has kind of been an issue for me. I'm definitely stuck in between 63 kilos and 72 kilos. So I just kind of really made the dedication and sacrifices to make it work this time to get down to 63s.
How do you feel you've been wrestling at that division? Has it been, you feel that you've had the strength you need to be successful and you feel good out there when you're wrestling?
Yeah, I definitely have done it differently, so I feel that I have a lot of strength. You know, just coming back in general after about a 1.5 years off was hard enough to get back in the swing of things, but I really feel comfortable at 63s, and I like it.
Now, could you tell us a little bit about You know, you've got a very busy schedule being a parent, a student, and an athlete all at the same time. And how do you manage your time and be able to excel at all parts of your life?
Definitely have family help, juggling the kids, but it's just a matter of finding a way to make it work. You know, what fits in my life may seem hectic to some people, but I can get it to work, and I'm not a person that really likes to make plans, and I know it makes people mad, but I can't because, you know, things could change in the next 5 minutes with the kids or with school, or I have to study or something like that. So basically, I like to just not make plans and go with the flow. And like I said, I have a lot of help, support from my family, my husband, and even it goes into the wrestling family with my team. They help out a lot too. So.
Now, you've been to Oklahoma for a couple of years now. You came after the Olympic cycle last time. How's the move worked out for you and your family to be here and make this your home and your training center?
It's good. It's put a lot of confidence back in my wrestling. I really thought I was done after '08, and then, you know, talking with the coaches down here, found confidence in wrestling again, and wanted to get back into it. And everything has been falling into place, and I love it.
Does anyone have any specific questions for Christie at this time you'd like to ask? Okay, we'll move on over to the next athlete. He's our 55-kilogram U.S. Open champion in men's freestyle wrestling. You may recognize him as a 4-time All-American for the University of Oklahoma, and he came back to live and train here in the Norman area to pursue his Olympic dream. This is Sam Hazewinkel, and he's our national champion at 55 kilograms. Sammy, could you explain, after many years where you were the top competitor, twice national champion in Greco-Roman wrestling, why a couple of years back you decided to switch over to freestyle?
Well, there were a lot of different reasons. One, I'm a believer you got to be where the partners are. And Greco, you pretty much have to be at the training center in Colorado or up in Michigan at the USOEC. And my wife loves it here, and I like the coaches here. So that was one reason. We wanted to stay in Oklahoma. Got a lot of family and friends here. And then another reason is I always wanted to see how I could do in both styles. And unfortunately, my body's not getting younger. So freestyle's a little harder on the body, and I figured if I was ever going to do it, I had to do it now. And so I'm doing freestyle.
Could you tell me what you think is the difference in your wrestling this year? Last year you competed in freestyle as well, but you were able to put together a great national tournament and win the gold medal. What's different with you this year in comparison to previous years?
Well, I think last year was a learning year. I really wanted to step right in and be at the top. Unfortunately, it didn't work that way. I had to kind of switch styles a little bit, figure out a lot of little things. I was letting people in on my legs a little too easy. So we got a lot of the little errors worked out, and feeling good and confident this year.
Now, what are your thoughts about being able to compete here in Oklahoma? Obviously, this is the biggest event of the year for you guys domestically, and to have family here and also be able to compete in front of some hometown fans.
It's such an advantage. I see it as an advantage in a lot of ways. I'm at home, sleeping in my own bed, cutting weight in my own facility. You know, I got lots of support around me. It just makes things a lot easier. And you know, I'm in Oklahoma. This is my realm. This is where I want to be.
Does anyone have any questions at this point for Sam? Thank you, Sam. To my far right, we have our 66-kilogram U.S. Open champion in men's freestyle. He grew up nearby Edmond, was a state champion multiple times, national caliber high school wrestler, and stayed in the region going to Oklahoma University in college, where he was a 2-time NCAA champion. However, you know, on the freestyle scene, for instance, this year though, he came in as our number 8 seed for our national championships and put together a fantastic tournament, beating a number of higher ranked athletes in strong form in winning the national championship. I'd like to introduce Tion Ware. Tion, national champ, you get to sit out and don't have to wrestle at the beginning of this tournament in what they call the challenge tournament. You're just going to be in the best of 3 series, waiting for one other athlete to compete. Do you see this as an advantage, and have you had to prepare differently because now you're the #1 guy?
No, I do see it as an advantage. Like I said, because after weigh-in, I get to rest my body, and I get to see everybody else, how everybody else is wrestling. But I still prepare the same. Like I said, when I'm telling myself, I still have to show up and I still have to wrestle the best 2 out of 3 matches, because then you can see it the way a lot of people see it is I'm resting up my body, but I also see it as a lot of guys, they're going to get their train rolling. And a lot of guys, once you get that train rolling, it's hard to stop a lot of guys. And then, so I tell myself, I got to get my train rolling early and get it going.
Now, you've moved to the East. You're now training with the Nittany Lion Club in Penn State. Olympic champion Kale Sanderson helps coach you there. Obviously, the weather's a bit different. Could you talk a little bit about how your new training situation has helped you? And certainly you've had ability to a peak this year at our National Open.
To be honest with you, it was different when I first moved out there. Like I said, I'm a city boy, and so, like I said, their mall out there is a Walmart. So that's how it's different. And so, but when I got the phone call from Kale, I was excited. To be honest with you, I was honored, and I knew the first thing I had to get when I moved out there was a jacket. And I gotta go buy me some jacket and gloves because I know it's cold out here. And so, but I got adjusted to it, and you got a lot of good guys that are training for the same thing out there in our club. It's not just a few guys. We actually have a good club team, and so when you see guys, you see 9 or 10 guys training for the same thing, you know you're not in it by yourself, and it's easy to feed off that momentum. And when you go into tournaments with your teammates, and those guys are placing first and second at those tournaments, you're like, hey, I want to try to outdo these guys, so we feed off each other. And to have a coach that's been there, knows what it takes to get there, I mean, you couldn't ask for better. And like I said, I understand I'm out of my comfort zone, but I'm adjusting. I'm getting there, and obviously, you're seeing, I mean, what I'm doing at my matches and everything with the new coach and everything. But I still tell myself I still got a lot of work to do. I'm not trying to make it to the world team. I'm trying to be a world champion. And so, to be honest with you, I see this weekend. If I get past this is going to be the easy part. Being the world champion. That's to get to where she's been a couple times. That's the hard part. So that's where I want to go.
And Oklahoma, obviously you grew up here, went to college here. You're going to have an opportunity to compete in front of your fans and family and friends. What are your thoughts about that? And I know you said the last time you had a match here, it didn't go out the way you wanted. So.
Exactly right. I'm very excited. Like I said, to have my family come watch me and everything. I told them, don't act too crazy. There's no who you are, who you're cheering for. Just don't act too crazy. But I'm excited. But like you said, I still got business to handle, because the thing that's in the back of my mind is what happened in 06. And I had the opportunity to wrestle in front of them, and I didn't handle my business. So I still got to come out here and handle business, and then give myself something to celebrate Saturday night, along with this man.
Now, 06, that was the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
And you got finals?
Yeah, I made it to the finals and lost 3-2 to Gallup from Iowa State. So, like I said, that's been at the back of my mind for a while, and so that's why I'm excited. Having another opportunity to wrestle in Oklahoma City, and tell myself, hey, you didn't get it done last time, but the Lord's blessed you with another opportunity. Let's go capitalize on it.
Okay. Now, does anyone have any questions for Tion or for any of our 3 athletes at this point? Okay, what I'd like to do is now we'll go into the phase where you can do one-on-one interviews. We'll probably have each of the athletes go to a different area so that you can pull your chair over somewhere and people can come by. And please feel free, if you have any questions or needs concerning any of these athletes, information, or you want to have some follow-up information for the competition the next 2 days, to see myself or Craig Sesker. But we really appreciate you being here. We're very excited to be in Oklahoma City. This is wrestling country, and we felt it from the time we got here a few days ago that people here really love and care about our sport, and we're looking forward to presenting the best show you've ever seen in Olympic-style wrestling here for all the fans and people that enjoy wrestling. So thank you for coming, and please feel free to chat a little bit with our athletes.